Happy Sunday, apprentices. So, in construction, when you're handed a new project, do you wait till they're breaking ground to figure out what's next? I hope not. Or are you dissecting that schedule, you visualizing what's next, 3-4 weeks ahead, building a manpower plan, building a material handling plan, all the things that you're going to have to go through to get that project done? Well, trading's no different. If you're not building a trading plan or system and only focusing on the strategies, well, you're doing it wrong. That's what's next on today's show. Trading Forex or any other financial instrument carries substantial risk. The topics discussed on this show are the views of the host and the producers only. You should consult with your financial planner before investing in Forex or any other financial instrument. Don't be a dumbass.
Welcome to the Day Trading Plumber, episode 53. I'm Matt Simpson, and I love getting spam messages.
Oh, you got some new ones?
Yeah, let me read this one to you. This was today. Matt, it's September 3rd, and you've been selected to run our high-profit work-at-home software, hiring 3 more people today only.
So let's break through it because I'm teaching myself some marketing.
I should hop on that opportunity of a lifetime.
They put a timeline, like oh my God, act now.
Yep.
Only available today.
Created FOMO.
They made it seem like just you. I remember when that used to work, putting your name in it. Like, they actually wrote it if my name's in it. But, technology these days.
It's an HTML tag, right?
I've realized because I get probably...
Or a Java tag.
I get 5 or 6 follows a day on Instagram, which, makes you feel good. Till you look, and they're always cute girls and risque clothes. And what's funny is I'll see six like that, right? 6 follows. They'll like 5 of your whatever posts, and then they follow you. But my follow count doesn't go up. It's almost like they've created this bot or something that's, sends the signal or notification that they're following you. So you instantly follow them back, but you're not getting, I guess, for lack of terms, the credit for the follows. I've been stuck at like 1859 for a while. And I'm like, how am I just staying there? Cause these 6 people followed me today. What, did 6 people unfollow me just randomly in a day after day? Trading, I call it a system, a plan. I was in a conversation today with an old acquaintance of mine, actually worked in the construction industry with me. And, she's since moved on. Her and her husband run a chiropractic business, a pretty successful one. And we kind of got in chatter over how small businesses are just getting destroyed right now.
Chiropractors are the shit. One of the most underrated professions in the world. You find a good chiropractor, you don't let him go. You find a good proctologist in a party, you don't leave that corner.
I don't know where that came out of nowhere, Matt. I thought you were going to lead into, are we selling advertisement spots now? But yeah, we were chatting because she's been following my trading activity on Facebook. And she was like, look, I don't have any clue what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, because I dumb it down pretty flat. But I was kind of telling her parts of my trading system, right? And we're thinking more global or macro, because she's like, so one of the comments that led into it was she's like, well, at least the stock market's doing good, right? Because there's so many things that aren't doing good. And a lot of Americans have that, maybe not just Americans, but a lot of people have that attitude right now. Well, the stock market's good. Well, is it good? I mean, yes, what historically we've all looked at, well, it's not losing money yet. And what I was alluding to in that conversation, I was like, well, this is a time for diversification for sure. And one of the things that I've noticed, because I breeze Zillow from time to time, and I've watched March, April, pretty large amount of inventory, and prices were actually cracking a little bit right when I was selling my house. Imagine that. But right now, there's like nothing available. Things are selling. Houses are just being gobbled up. And prices have actually jumped quite a bit, or at least around here. And
I heard Florida's up 20% this summer.
My theory is equities is getting risky. Everyone knows it. We're at the top or what? And, you know, all the talking heads are like, this thing could go 30% more. I've seen it, you know, and it may. But how many buyers are you going to find when you're over the top? My feeling is real estate's one of those safer investments, theoretically. Longer term, you have an asset, you can touch it, you can rent it out. So a lot of cash or investment funds are flowing into real estate, buying up all these available homes, and they're pulling that money out of equities. Now, what we don't see is that volume dropping off and the NASDAQ's flying off the roof because everyone's picking which companies have the best chance of surviving. And obviously tech companies, they don't operate like a normal, like Kohls. I drove through a Kohls parking lot and it was just horrible.
Kohls is a department store in the Midwest.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Our Aussie friends don't know what Kohls is.
Okay, it's a department store. It sells clothes.
Discount department store.
Now,
not as nice as Marks and Spencer.
And it's just sad because you pull into these once thriving hubs. Like I can remember going to Kohls on a Saturday and I hated life because you have to park at the back, you gotta walk in, and you're staring at stuff you don't need, and your wife's dragging you around. Oh my God! And Kohls is perfect at putting markdown stickers. It was $89. Now it's $30. I gotta buy it. And I'm like, it was never $89. You're a mark.
They found a live one.
Right. Look, all we have to do is put a sticker, cross a line through it.
We got her.
Right. Look, she thinks it was really $89. Then she's getting a deal. As long as she leaves happy. Driving through this parking lot now, and it's not just Kohls, it's everywhere. It's sad. Back to the original conversation with my friend, they own a practice. They're getting by, but they had to let a lot of people go. They're doing a lot of the work themselves. And she's reaching out to me because they know their times, they got to get something going now. One, you're not going to be physically able to crack people's backs much, the 30 more years. Let's just face it, chiropractors have to be in pretty good shape, especially when a piece of meat like me comes in there. I went to one once that was a really little dude, and he's like, yeah, all right, this is going to, and, it got the job done, but I could imagine if The Rock goes in there and they're like, dude, I'm not going to be able to jump on you. But I'm getting a lot of calls of people wanting to get into trading. Either they had a little success through this little COVID recovery, which is dangerous. I think last week I told you I'm in a Facebook group of dads who trade stocks. And it's just funny to me. They haven't gone past whatever Robinhood provides as platform, which is fine. And I'm like, you just open the app and buy whatever they said on Squawk Box and you're doing good. Yeah. I was like, good for you. But now's the time to take maybe some of that money and educate yourself. And because bad days are coming, there's a reason why everyone's not just a stock trader. Because the illusion that it's easy sucks you in, and then you have a little success and you're hooked, and then whammo, the red day comes and you're over levered, or you're all in Tesla. Like some of these guys in this group are just like Tesla, 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 Tesla. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Tesla fan and Elon Musk fan, but being a trader, I know when it's a little riskier. Your risk to rewards are shrinking. We got in the conversation about my trading plan, my macro plan. I've lowered my risk in equities, and I've put those in longer term type strategies where it's not so heavy anymore. I'm trying to take my profits, lock them in, and then trying to be intraday where I will take advantage of the daily moves. That's why I'm really trying to hone in this day trading strategy. I'm not a big fan of carrying things overnight or over a weekend, especially Forex. I truly believe Forex is going to get super volatile, really volatile. It's been volatile through COVID. It got a little dry there in August. The first couple trading days here in September, people are back at their desk. You could see these big bars coming back.
Well, Andrew, who's a prominent member of our audience, took all of August off.
Right. I mean,
that's the move, right?
A lot of traders take August off. Historically, it's a bad month to trade. That's their summer holiday. December too. You get into December, everyone takes the whole month off. People are counting their profits. Their bookkeepers are, summing up what they pay in taxes, all these things.
You're not even teaching in December. You're taking the month off too. We're going to work on some other stuff.
Well, I'm doing the first master class. We're going to learn a lot. Probably reshoot some of the videos, redo some of the content, repackage it a little bit, and then really hit it hard 2021. I don't usually run the robot in December. It gets caught in some stupid stuff, and it takes me till like February to get it out. So,
do you expect more volatility in currency exchanges as the election gets closer and people find different things to do with their money, different ways? Let's just face it, some of them are going to gamble. I see a lot of people really exploring gambling, not only because sports betting is now legal in so many states. I think it's 21 states now, and it's easy to do it legitimately, but also because people always think they have an edge and everybody's trying to grow. And this summer and this spring have really kicked a lot of people in the nuts, and they've gotten into speculation, and they've gotten into, okay, well, I made my fortune on the Dow. I made my fortune in the NASDAQ. And now I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to be sports betting. I'm going to get into Forex because I have a guy. I'm now a Bitcoin expert. I think we're going to see a lot of that in the next couple of months.
I think when sports got canceled, a lot of those people, gambleholics, became traders.
They need the action.
Right. They need the action. I will tell you, if that's why you're in trading, it's not going to end well. If you're not in it to clearly have an edge, and you only take that trade when that edge is there, and you know those probabilities, if you're not doing that, or at least not striving to do that, and have recognized your faults and working on it, then that's gambling, right? Like tomorrow's NFP, and Brandon, and I love Brandon to death in the channel, it was like, we were speculating in there. So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow with the, I go, for me to say dollar's going to go up, that's pure speculation. And quite honestly, it's gambling. Putting a long or short trade on just because, and I know because I've done this. I've told you about the straddle trade I tried before, right?
You did.
Where it's like, man, NFP, it always, and this is a while back, because non-farm payroll really used to move the market. It's kind of flattened out now. Now the whole week gets kind of moved. I don't know if because the news gets leaked days before. It's funny to see how much insider trading goes on, because you could see moves happening before the news comes out. And you're like, that many people knew before, or they're just gambling. We were pure speculating. Oh, well, it's got to be decent news. And is that going to drive down? Nothing is really making sense right now. And when you get into these little clouds of where the feds can just print money and the dollar keeps getting stronger and stronger, and then finally goes weaker. Gold goes on a rip-roaring to the moon move. Anything could happen. That's why, my macro plan is expect anything to happen. Maybe, why I'm trying this day trading strategy is my reversion of the mean strategies just weren't working on this COVID recovery. It just kept going. In our AMA tonight, where we talked about when price gets to that S3 level, and before COVID, when it gets below S3 and above R3, it's super probable it's going back at least halfway to that pivot. We just weren't seeing that through that recovery. It was just going off into whole new levels. I'm adapting and saying, you know what? I want to be in the market. I'm a trader. I need to make money trading. However, I want to be in and out. I want to be done by 11 a.m. So if you think about your playbook of strategies, it's just like a quarterback of a football team. He knows the plays, but he needs to know the defense that's called. If they call a cover two, he knows what the probability, what receiver is going to be open if it's pass play. Now he has to make that quick decision from, oh my God, he's not open. He's not open. Throw the ball, or he's going to get sacked. Trading is exactly like that. Your strategy has to have the if and statements. And strategy is just one part of that system. You got to have highly probable trading strategies. And when I say playbook, imagine the Broncos only had one play. To be a really complete trader, you got to have all sorts of plays. And you got to be good at them. And, I know a lot of people out there are, selling courses or selling books or putting content out there. It's like, I trade one pattern and one pattern only for the last 100 years and I'm a millionaire. Fine. That's fine. If you just look for a double top and you trade that one strategy, fine. But if you're going to be a successful day trader and do this for a living, you're going to need a playbook. And it might all, like, for instance, most of my strategies, almost all of them, are variations of pivot points, Bollinger Bands, or Knoxville divergence. But there's lots of strategies tied in there. But those are kind of like, running plays, pass plays, and what other plays are there in football besides running and passing?
That's it. But I think you mean standard formation, spread.
Right. The I formation.
And then trick plays. What would be a trick play in Forex trading? What would be something you pull out once in a while and
I would
only
say
if conditions are perfect?
A fade trade.
What's that?
Imagine price moves frantically fast one direction, stalls out, you counter trend trade that fade. I've gotten really good at it. However, they're dangerous because it's the exact definition of catching a falling knife. All these cliches we all hear, falling. Well, in Forex, it could be shooting up. And you're going to trade a short trade. They're highly probable if you pick the right spot. And you got to be very, very quick on price action. Now, it can trick you. So you got to be really tight with the stop or really small at that position size. So if you're wrong the first, let's say it's a bullish flash crash, right? It's kind of what we call it. Moves 50, 60 pips in one bar. Boom. And you get the first bearish candle. So you're like, oh, it's bears are showing up. Let's fade it. And then boom, another candle. Well, now you're another 60 pips in the red and you could do a rollover trade. Playing a fade trade is not something you want to do out of the gate. But that would be the quick, the best thing I could describe a trick play in trading.
And that would be like a wide receiver reverse option, where if you time it right, it could be a huge play. But if you get it wrong, your receiver may fumble the football.
Right.
It may be a scoop and score.
Or if you have disciplined D linemen that hold contain, right? Because why you run those reverse plays in football, not to get too crazy, is if you got a defensive end who's aggressive and he's cutting down that line, because he has the best chance to get to your quarterback. But a lot of them, their job is contain. So if they nose down on that quarterback and try to shoot that down into the gap, they get trapped by that tight end. And then that reverse play, there's no one containing. After you have strategies and money, money management is for sure a huge part of each strategy. How many pips? Where's the stop loss go? What's my risk to reward ratio? Now, in your trading system, you have to have a macro money management, meaning if I lose 3% in one day, I'm done. Which, if your strategy is you're only going to risk 1% per trade, that's 3 trades if you lose 3 trades, you're done for the day, which sucks for a trader because it's kind of like go home, right? Or if you're a plumber at work, go sweep the floor. Go sweep the floor the rest of the day.
I'm mad at you. You're lucky you're still employed.
Right. And instead of sending you home without pay, I'm going to pay you to be miserable all day.
And I'm going to make sure that I send people past you all day so they look at you while you're sleeping.
Right. And what's funny is some people get put on that duty and they're like, really? It's all I got to do? All right. They don't even know they're in trouble. Part of my plan, if I lose $1,500 and, I'm risking 1% on each trade, $500 on a $50,000 account. If I lose $1,500, I'm done for the day. What do? Do I get to go home? No, I punish myself. I take a demo trade the rest of the day. I replay trade. I go back and I visualize winning these trades because there's a lot to be said with visualization. Now, that's, your loss limit for the day. What a lot of people don't do, because it's not fun, is you should cap how much you're going to make as well, which sounds stupid. But in the beginning, one of the best traits we can learn as a trader is stopping when you're ahead. And until you're able to do that, until you have done that and you're not going to be banana head and just swing for the fences because you're having a good day. And now I gotta get one more. It's like leaving the table when you're hot in blackjack. No one wants to leave then. No one. Trading's no different. You get 3 or 4 good winning trades, worked out perfect. I call those clean trades. And even a clean trade could be a loser, right? Like in our AMA tonight, we set a stop loss. We entered at a highly probable area, but I'll take the $200 loss. I'll take the second $200 loss. Whammo. There's the $5,000 winner, right?
That was pretty sweet to see.
That's what you're after. And if you don't focus on that loss so bad, because, you have your loss limit, and creating all these rules and living by them gives you the confidence that you're going to be okay. And that's where we all got to get as traders, is no matter what happens today, Trump tweets, Nancy Pelosi gets the presidency on some technicality, and the markets go crazy. Guess what? You have stop losses in place. You have a trading system that tells you, I've hit my loss limit for the day. I get to survive to the next day. And if you're having one of those amazingly good days and you have a reasonable profit limit, let's say your goal is 1% a day, but you say, you know what, if I get up 2% in one day, I'm stopping. As hard as it's going to be, I still have 2 more hours in the session. I got some good setups forming. Stop. Follow your rules. Because if you can follow your rules at the most euphoric time, you're going to follow them when you need to. obviously, as you get more and more confident that you're going to do the right thing when you need to, you could probably relax that profit one, because who doesn't want to make more money? And if you're really good at your executing of your trades and you have really high probabilities, you shouldn't be taking a bunch of losses. But if you're still a banana head and throwing trades on out of sequence or too early, tighten it up. If you have that good day, you had some sloppiness, but you got lucky, shut it down. Take a profit. Another very, very important part of your system is journaling. You journal every trade. You put those trades. I like taking a screenshot before and after. So when I'm not trading or I'm punishing myself or whatever it is, and I'm going back through those, I could go, man, that was a perfect setup. I love how, it's like an athlete watches replay. If you have the capability and the storage space, I have a 5 terabyte external hard drive. Record them. Get one of those desktop recording software, hit the record button right as you're getting ready to trade, record the trade, record from in and out, and then watch those replays. Because I will tell you, being a trader, not to steal from books I read, it's a lot like being a professional athlete. You are laser focused. You're following rules. Your playbook. You got to practice those exits and entries, just like athletes practice those throws. Quarterbacks no longer have to think about how to throw the ball. It's just like they feel it. Or an archer doesn't aim the arrow anymore. It's just, you're looking at me like an idiot over there.
I just want to hear your arrow sound again.
We got to think bigger than just the strategy.
Hit it, Matt.
Hit it, Matt.
We have our very first sponsor.
Oh, really? Who's that?
I'm lying. We don't. However, we are ranked 173rd on the Apple Podcast investing chart for Great Britain.
Woohoo.
You know what that's better than?
174th?
That's right. 174 sucks.
Yeah. At some point, I think they stopped counting, but not at 173.
Not on the PGA Tour. There's a 173rd guy on the PGA Tour.
Do you know, at one time I was 10.
Thank you, Britain. We love you.
Yeah. Thank you, Britain. You British. I don't know. I got nothing.
You Brits.
You Brits. Do you know, at one time I was ranked 10,000th in the world.
I did know that. That's a ranking.
Yeah, it felt pretty good to, tell people, hey, go to the CrossFit website and look up 10,232nd in the world, Clayton Allen.
Well, we have a friend who was ranked on a poker tour.
Yeah.
At one point, which is pretty cool.
I heard a rumor that Dan Bazillion to even make his money from playing poker. Could that be true?
Who is he?
Oh, it's not going to matter. He's an influencer on Instagram. And
it hasn't influenced me.
Yeah, he just hires a harem of hot chicks to follow him around and he films it. And
should we do that?
No. Hot chicks are work, dude. So Matt wanted to bring up the taking a bath segment. What are we going to do when I have a big win? The taking a bath trade of the week, USJPY, Tuesday. I'm feeling pretty confident in this day trading system or strategy that I am forming together with the group of us in the chat, the Day Trading Plumber chat group on Telegram. Feeling confident. I'm up $1,500 Monday. And Tuesday comes around and it's almost feels like a broken record because last week's podcast is talking about how I self-sabotaged after Tuesday. Well, I at least didn't self-sabotage. In all my back testing, I never had more than 2 losses in a row. And for some reason this day, I was a little late on my entries, a little premature with parts of the strategy, and man, did it just kick me in the balls. What killed me is I moved my stop losses. I was like, oh, just give it a little bit more room.
That's not something you tell us to do.
No, just give it a little bit more room. You know, because I am trying to stick to a 5 pip stop loss with this strategy, and it works. But when it doesn't work and you move it, it gets ugly fast because, you know, I'm taking 10 lots. And what really sucks, as soon as you open the trade, I'm 150 into the $500 loss. So I'm already back against the wall. Couple ticks against you, I'm 350.
What are you in the hole? Is that the spread, the 150?
Yeah, the spread. Because, you know, I trade a wider gap and no commission type account with my broker because just, I don't know. When I first opened my account, they didn't offer, I think they call it core pricing, where it's a much smaller spread and you just pay a commission on each trade. I was trading the robot at the time, and it takes lots of trades. So, and all the back testing results I had were with wider spreads. So it had no problem making up the wider spread and meeting the profit target. So then when they went core pricing, they actually switched me over because they assumed I would want it 1 week. And, you know, while he's trading away, and I'm like, holy shit, what are all these commission fees? And it just ate up all my profits. And they're like, oh, you wanted to be incorporated. No, did I call you? Did I say that? And, you know, they made right. They moved me back and gave me back the credit. But
is that like when Facebook just decides they're going to update this week? Nobody asked for it. Autocorrect. Nobody asked for it.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me what I need.
Dude, you're so negative. I like autocorrect if it's right. See, I think people that actually can spell and not have so many grammar problems, it might be a pain in the ass for you because, you know, it's like, correct. No. It keeps guessing and it annoys you. Kind of like that guy that cuts you off all the time when you're trying to get a story out. And like, so you punched him in the face? No, you jumped over the fence? You're like, dude, let me tell a story. I don't know why. I took a $1,900 loss on one trade just because at one point I just go, you know what? I'm just taking the stop off. I'm just going to let it go.
Let it ride.
And bad idea. I will tell you guys, bad idea. So once again, I had to punish myself this week. You know, tomorrow's NFP. So I'm going to finish the week on this demo that I pretty much destroyed again this week. And then, you know, start over fresh next week. I made a few tweaks to the system based on what I saw, but I'm at the point now where the strategy is fine. I've traded it well over 1,000 times now. The probabilities are there. The risks to rewards there. I don't need to go with a 10 pip stop loss to cut the trade size in half. It's there. The problem I'm having is I haven't defined exactly where the take profit or where I move those stop losses. So I leave a little too much discretion open, and I'm cutting my winners off too soon. And when I move that stop loss, my losers are getting to be way too big. So it's exactly what we all say in the trading world. Every new trader goes through it. Every trader goes through it. It's only the good ones that can fix it and stop doing it. It's just stop doing it. Follow the rules. That's why we make these trading systems. You get the strategies, the rules of the strategies right. But then you got to stick to some global rules, like that $1,500 loss limit of the day. How did I lose $1,900 in one trade? I have a rule on the strategy and I have a rule of my loss limit for the day. So it's like I broke two rules. When that happens, you go back, you're like, oh. So then next time when when that little voice in your head's like, oh, pull the stop loss, you know, you should be like, nope, we're not doing it. Not doing it. because this is how a $500 loss turns into a $2,000 loss. And you just ate up a horrible amount of your cash. You've been trading some equities. Have you thought about your strategies and then thought about your global macro rules, your trading system?
I have. We're different here because I'm huge on fundamental trading.
Well, in equities, you kind of have to be.
Because it makes more sense to me inherently, maybe because of how I see the world, maybe because of what's interesting to me. What I mean by that is statistics is never ending in how interesting it is to me. But I don't understand it on the way that I want to. What I do understand, and I'll never pretend to understand why people do the things that they do. I stole that from The Accountant. Great film with Ben Affleck. I do like to think about what I think people are going to do based on what's happening in the world. For example, this week I said, the companies that made it through this summer, restaurants that are cash heavy, like we talked about in March, people are going to figure out how to do business better or they're not going to be around. And that's exactly what's happened with a lot of these companies, especially on the NASDAQ. They've trimmed fat. They've figured out not only how to stay afloat, but how to have a lot of cash on hand. And there were a few trades this week I made a good 30% on, but I haven't cashed them in because my take profit, I already blew past my take profit on them. And I don't have enough risk capital in them for me to sell it, take the cash, and move on. So I'm just going to sit on it. I'm going to hold that very happy bag and see what happens to it. But I've moved my stop loss up because I'm already in the money.
And that, that's a decent strategy.
Right.
Because when you catch, like I said when you catch that tiger by his toe and it's going, a lot of people close too early and they miss the bigger move after. And then I've always said profit's profit. No one's going to beat you up. However, when you do have that runner, and I would say in equities, it's a lot easier to hold on to that winning trade.
It definitely is
because the overall bias is bullish.
Also, I'm not paying to have that trade, am I?
Right. You're not paying swaps and...
swaps and what?
It's just swaps.
Okay. The other part about the equity component that I really enjoy is it forces me to pay attention to the news, to economic news. In the construction business, you don't really have a lot of people paying attention to the news. Most people are paying attention just to their jobs and maybe sports news. And that's really it. So you don't really have those conversations at work. You have those conversations with your currency trader buddy.
Right.
You have those conversations with other traders and investors. But that's, 10 minutes a week? Maybe?
Right.
And that's in a casual setting, of course. I have learned to really think about always moving markets. And one of the things that I love to do now is shoot the gap, which is buy Boeing at 100, sell it at 182, I think, knowing it's going to, or knowing, we don't ever know, but assuming it's going to go down. And sure enough, it went down $20 a share and I bought it again because I want to be part of Boeing. Because I'm proud of Boeing. I'm proud that it's an American company. I love the things that they do. I love the things that they've done. I love the industry that's built around Boeing. I'm not so much into the federal spending, but at least it's going to an American company, Boeing. Right. I love what they're doing with space. I love the fact that Elon, and SpaceX are rivals with Boeing. That whole thing is fascinating. They're involved in space. They're involved in aerospace. So it's interesting to me. I want to invest in things that I believe in.
Right.
And that's the difference with a trader, right? A trader doesn't give a shit about what the company's doing. He just cares about price action.
Right. I mean, I get in this conversation at least once a week between investing and trading. And it's amazing to me how many people are walking around, highly successful people, and don't even know that difference, or Forex and equities. And it just like that dad group of traders. It's good they're seeking out information. It's good that they're getting involved. What's not good is how blind they are to the risks. Now, obviously, whatever they have in their Robinhood account is probably risk capital or should be. Where it gets dangerous is where you take a $500 account that no one cared about and you turn it into $10,000. And then you think, wow, I could do that. And then they go borrow $100,000 on a credit card.
Oh no!
and put it in Robinhood.
No.
Well, dude, I've heard some pretty stupid things
Give me one.
like that.
Well,
Or they take a second mortgage on their house,
No.
take all their equity out, and then put it in the markets.
No.
That's why these brokers have 14 pages of
You are going to lose your ass.
where'd you get your money, where, we have to verify it. You're going to lose.
All of it.
Are you okay if all this disappears?
What are your expectations?
Right. And, that's why money managers make such great living, because a lot of people either A, want plausible deniability or are smart enough to understand that they don't know what they're doing and know that they will freeze under the pressure and they will crack, they will close. They'll close at the bottom and they'll buy at the top. And
To their credit, though, there's nothing wrong with understanding your limits.
Right.
In fact, I respect the hell out of that. When somebody says, I don't know how to do that, I respect the hell out of that.
There's believe it or not, when I was in construction, a very demanding job. You're a leader of big crews. You have high expectations from the owner and your bosses. And let's just face it, construction is one of those industries. It's never fast enough. It's never good enough. It's never cheap enough. It's never safe enough. And as soon as you complete one thing, it starts all over. You just get a new one. And a lot of time they're overlapping. So it's this never ending stress grind. Never have enough material. Never enough parking. Always something.
Never enough double A batteries.
You get caught in that hamster wheel. And then all of a sudden someone throws at you, hey man, you want to learn how to trade? It's going to take 10 years. It's going to be a lot of heartache and time and energy. And you're just like, or you could give it to Chad in the suit over there and, let him do what he's good at. Give it to Chad. I remember it wasn't until I had kids, I realized how much fucking extra time. Oh, apologize for cussing. I'm really going to try not to cuss as much.
Nobody believes that.
It wasn't until I had kids did I realize how much freaking free time I had before kids.
For sure.
I remember I had 2 little babies and I'm carrying them around. They can't even hold their damn bottles.
Oh.
And they're pooping.
They're
then
illiterate.
Then you just want to go poop and you can't because your wife's, where are you? I know, and then all of a sudden, you're like, what did I do with my weekends and time?
Went to the gym, went fishing.
Oh man, I
played a lot.
I can even remember when I was non-manager and I worked from 7 to 3:30 and I had no kids, I had no wife, and I wasn't working out. So I'm like, what did I do? What? I think back and I go, wow, that's like when Call of Duty came out. And I played Call of Duty for maybe like 6-7 weeks. But that's all I can remember I did with that window.
Do you ever feel guilty for not being productive for several years? Because I know that's hit me. When I graduated in 2011, this was college now, 2011, it was just before I turned 30, and we were building a cheese factory in Greeley, Colorado. And I made that trip 2 or 3 times a week from southern Denver to Greeley. And I loved it because we're building a freaking cheese factory with vats 20 feet in diameter and 40 feet high. It was awesome. But I suddenly wasn't tired all the time because I didn't have to go to school. I didn't have, school at night. I didn't have homework. I graduated. I did it. I was done. And I got really into my work, and that's when my career took off. That's when my salary took off. That's when my autonomy really took off. And I think about it now with 2 kids and a career and Alan FX and all of this, and I still have time. Sometimes I think, gosh, what if because I was thinking about going to grad school and getting my MBA. And I was like, but I'm already in the job that I want to be in, or the career that I want to be in. I'm already in the industry that I really like. Sometimes I go back to, 6 years of being free, I guess, from 30 to 36, 35. And I feel like I wasted 6 years of my life. But then I remember, well, no, I worked for that.
All right.
I'm in the house that I wanted. I'm with the woman that I wanted still.
Yeah, I mean,
I have my 2 beautiful kids who are illiterate and can't do anything. And that's exactly what I worked for. And now with this, I still have time to work on things.
you play hockey on Saturdays.
Right.
If you find yourself struggling, like, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to learn trading. You're making an excuse and you're running from something. And I get it. Going to work, when I had 2 young twins and I worked 10, 12 hours a day in construction or at the hotel, and I'd come home and do housework because there's always housework. I was trading that whole time. I found a way around it, right? I had a robot that would trade during the hours that I liked trading when I couldn't. And then now, because I put all that work in, I have a lot more time. And then now I'm frustrated because I'm running up against the wall of, I'm trying to get this new strategy that fits the timeline that I need it. Because if I'm going to do this coaching thing, I got to go all in. And I need to trade to make money. So, and I don't want to half-ass trade. I don't want to half-ass coach. So I got to adapt and try to create a system that works from 4:30 a.m. to 11. Then I could get my workout in, switch into coaching mode, and really put a lot of energy, because I will tell you, I way underestimated the amount of work to do it right. Marketing, content creating, which I don't do that great of a job, but at least I'm doing it, right? And I'm learning along the way. And as frustrating as it is, I have to just understand it's a process. Just like in the beginning of trading, when you'd have 3 wins and then 10 losses, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Right? And they want to give up, and you want to say, it's impossible. I'm at that point where I look at these people who just seem like they make these effortless posts. They get 49,000 likes, or they just have a really good sales pitch ad. And I'm like, I want to do that. Why does it seem so hard for me to market? I mean, we have a free Telegram channel where I think the content I put in there is pretty damn good for free for, trade ideas. Pretty much give, hey, if price does X, high probability of taking a sell trade right here for free. And I can't grow it past 300 people. It hits 300. And it's just like, I can't even give it away. And I'm thinking I'm going to try to sell coaching. When you talk to people who have made it, or people who, I guess, looks like they make it, or it was so effortless from our side, they put years and grinding. Like we've said that on the show. There's people like, The Rock makes, his highest paid actor in Hollywood now. Look at his physique. I wish I was him. Well, the dude's been grinding for 30 plus years. Could you imagine what it takes to keep a physique like that? The eating, the working out, and with his job, the traveling and stuff, how easy it is to be like, oh, I'll just eat shit today because I'm in Budapest doing a movie.
What country is Budapest in?
It's in Turkey.
No.
Where is it?
Hungary.
I knew it was one of those.
It's okay.
Hungary, Turkey. They're kind of the same.
They're not.
They're by each other, though.
They're not.
No? They're both Middle East, aren't they?
They're not. Hungary is very European.
It's European? See, I don't know my Europe. But journaling is extremely important. One, if I find pausing after I take that trade to journal, to get the emotions, take the screenshot, it really helps you from just jumping right in. We all go through this feeling when you either take a loss or a win, you feel like you got to jump right back in the markets. So if you stop, you journal that trade, it gives you just enough pausing to recalibrate, reset, and jump right in. And believe me, you're not going to miss any big trades. And quite honestly, if price action's moving that fast and going all sorts of crazy, you probably should wait anyways. And, it's always really good to go back. Or if you do hire or befriend a coach, I'm going to ask to see your journal if you ask me to help you with your trading. Where's your journal? Oh, I don't do that.
It's just like a business plan if you
Right?
go and ask for a loan.
Well, what's your projected revenue? I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. Or if it's half-assed style, like, we're going to make $1 million the first month. People want the scrub daddy. And they're going to buy 1 million of them the first week. Journaling it's just, you have to do it. It's part of the discipline. You could do it different, but you should have the day, the time you were in the trade. Did you win? Did you lose? What your risk to reward was? All of those things. That's important for you to go back and see, man, I'm just taking too many trades with not that great of risk to reward. Was the risk to reward really plausible based on probabilities? Like anyone could just throw the take profit 200 pips away because they want to have a big stop loss. They'd be like, look at the risk to reward. Yeah, but is it ever going to get there? Right? Like, come on, dude.
What'd you think of the live event tonight?
I thought it was good. I know last minute I switched some things up and put it on my Facebook page rather than our private channel for our subscribers only. Only because I think doing an hour-long training for the Signal Service subscribers, that's such a good perk. And I do a horrible job getting that out to people. So, tonight's was, hey, if you've been thinking about getting into trading, and I know a lot of people are because they message me on LinkedIn or Facebook, hey, man, I see you're a trader. I want to do that. But that's as far as that thought ever goes.
They want the reward, not the process.
Right. Do you drive a Ferrari and have Pals cash? No. Well, this one guy I know does. But there's a lot of legitimate people who their wife lost the job. They lost job in COVID. They're scared right now. I'm sitting there thinking about a campaign. How many small business owners out there are just getting demolished, but they're walking away with a little bit of cash? Like I can think of my friend who owns 2 or 3 bars downtown, and his wife owns a salon. Okay. So you can imagine what this is doing to them. Now, don't get me wrong. They have a decent amount of cash. They're fine. All their employees are screwed, but they went from thriving, worried about opening day, all the, the normal life to, shit, is the governor going to let us ever sell drinks again? Because, they don't serve food and, some of these regulations that are put on, let's just face it, the bars that they run are those type that college kids go to and they're packed all the time. Well, I'm thinking about all of those people who are entrepreneurs at heart and are do-it-yourselfers that have a little bit of risk capital left. And they've got to learn a skill. They got to get moving and they got to, something they could do at home, something you could kind of pick the hours. The markets will tell you when the setups are, but if they do the work, they can learn a skill that they could potentially make a living off of with no employees and no governor telling you can't operate. What a crappy thing that's happened. I thought it was good to get it out and out to the public. So at least now you could go to Allen FX Facebook page and see the recording and go, oh, that's what it's about. Because a lot of people are afraid to even open a demo, which is...
Well, it's scary. The whole thing is scary.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to hit buttons. They don't want to have to learn the platform. I think what I will do is I already know on my YouTube channel, somewhere in the early days of those videos is a video on how to open a demo account in like 30 seconds on your phone. But I think I'll redo that and, show people how to open a demo the right way on a desktop, how to do some of the quick things to make it feel like it's real. Because if you're at all interested in trading Forex, trading equities, open a paper trading account. It's going to, whatever platform you use. Obviously, I drive people to learn MT4 out of the gate for Forex, just because every broker supports it. And if you ever get into automation, you're going to want MT4. And, let's just face it, any serious trader is trading on MT4. So if you learn that out of the gate, you're not going to have to relearn later because you were on some broker's platform and the lots are different and how they calculate realized P&Ls, all that stuff's different.
Thank you very much for listening. Please join us next week.
Over and out.
If you'd like to learn more about Clayton's signals, please visit www.allenfx.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram at OFPMatt.